Hi, I'm Sally Medding. For this little landscape, I'm using Archie's 140-pound cold press paper and just wetting it with clean water as if I'm laying down a little invisible wash and painting around the little houses and tree tops carefully. I'm going to be doing a sunset, and I'm using new gamboge, permanent rose, and French ultramarine blue as my primers, and I'll mix secondaries from that. And starting with the lightest color, the yellow, I'll work my way down the board. Trying not to get my secondary colors mixed. Trying just let them mingle on the paper. Now it's the right way up again, and I'm going to start putting in some clouds by lifting out with a spritzed paper towel, twisting it like a piece of rope, and laying in those cirrus clouds. A little more violet at the bottom there. Now adding some darker clouds closer to the horizon in a violet and an orange. Getting a little orange highlights up in those cirrus clouds that I lifted out. Using the chisel of my 1-inch flat to drop in those lower ones, and now my pointed round to enhance the upper clouds. Graying my violet a little bit more for the lower clouds. Now I'm getting in the headland. It's the same violet used over the yellow, so it's neutralizing it even further as it's a complementary color. Now I'm mixing up the coniferous green for the trees over on the right, scumbling those in with a mixture of burnt sienna and phthalo blue green shade, plus a little bit of the violet from the sky, just to change the green as you go down. Adding a touch of transparent pyrrol orange to get a little glow from the sun coming from the right hand side. And I'm sort of dabbing those strokes and letting the colors mingle together, creating some diagonal lines to suggest grasses that are growing in front of these trees. Getting in some warmer colors and softening those just with clean water as I come forward. Not too much detail in the foreground, but letting those colors mix wet and wet, and then drying it to set it into the paper. I'm not quite happy with the sky, so I'm going to glaze with a little warm yellow and a little violet to enhance the clouds. Now I'm going to paint the roof, and I mixed transparent pyrrol orange and permanent rose to make a transparent red, and added burnt sienna to neutralize it. And using some of those colors for the windows and doors, and a little bit of warmer yellow for the seawall, and mingling in some burnt sienna as I go down the page, and a touch of French ultramarine blue to cool it further towards the rocks. Now I'm enhancing the trees, just a darker mix of that coniferous green, burnt sienna and phthalo blue green shade, but a drier, thicker mix. Added a touch of sap green as I approach those grasses. And then I spattered in a little transparent orange. Now I'm adding a darker coat for the little roof I forgot on the shed, because it was a little darker. Now I'm mixing up my sea color, and that was a combination of burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue, and maybe a touch of that orange as well, and a lighter version towards the foreground, and a second coat as it was drying. And that's a snowblower in the background that you can hear. Just had a huge blizzard. A second coat on the roof, a glaze on the shadow side of the roof. And some grays for the windows and doors. That's the fence on top of the seawall. And just a light version of the neutralized browns left on my palette for the foreground. I'm darkening the seawall, some of those neutralized browns, and the little rocks. And some even darker for the rocks between the sea there. Enhancing that headland again with some neutralized grey browns. Trying to get that beautiful neutralized violet that I want for the shadow side of the white building. And the little shed. And the eaves. Ah, that snowblower is so annoying. I mixed up an even darker grey with burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue to do the telegraph pole, a little rigger to do the wires. And for the last bit, I'm going to do a red that matches the roof for another glaze, and then I'll use that to sign the piece. A few more darks in the sea wall. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and if you like my video and want to see more, please consider donating to Patreon at the link below. If you'd like to see some of my artwork, check out my website at the link above, and if you have any questions, please contact me at sallymenning@gmail.com.